Here are two early mandarins that are widely available. You can buy these trees at lots of nurseries throughout California. And so let's compare them, see if maybe you'd prefer to buy and plant one of these trees over another. Um, so we've got a Satsuma here and a Kishu, and let me just say straight away, there are lots of different kinds of Satsumas. This is the kind that is commonly sold just as Satsuma, but there are others. This is probably a Frost Owari Satsuma, but I'm not sure. Just to show you a different one, this is one called Shishan. They can be a little bit different and look a little bit different, as you can see by the neck on this one. But but they all have really similar sizes and tastes. For comparison, here's a navel orange. So you can see that the Satsuma is not that much smaller than a navel orange, whereas the Kishu is tiny. I mean, here's the Kishu in my hand. So, let's peel them and see what they look like inside. I should say that I'm doing this video in the middle of January. And Satsumas are getting baggy, they're getting puffy, and they're nearing the end of their harvest season. They have a fairly short harvest season. They don't hang that well on the tree. They get kind of puffy and start to dry out fairly quickly, but they're easy peeling. And here's the Kishu. This is also kind of late in the season for Kishu, but actually I'd say it's kind of prime. Actually, it's not late. It's kind of prime. So here's my impression in terms of peeling. They both peel very easily. However, there's a lot more strings and pith on the Satsuma compared to the Kishu. See how clean the segments of the Kishu are? And then, so when you're going to eat them, I mean, it's almost like there's almost no strings to pull off. They're just like clean little wedges, pop them in your mouth. However, with the Satsumas, you've got a lot of this stringy stuff on the back, so you find yourself kind of, it depends who you are, but if you don't like that stuff, you find yourself doing a lot more peeling to get some of that stuff off than you do with the Kishus. So for the kids, I'll say, with my kids, they eat Kishus like they're a drug. You can't stop them. They peel them so well, so easily by themselves, and they eat them in a few bites, and they love them. The Satsumas are a little bit too big for them, and a little bit of a pain. Even the the segments themselves are a little bit too big for a kid sometimes. My 4-year-old, she still like finds some of these segments too big. They're almost the size of an orange, you know. Not only that, but both of these are considered seedless. However, I've never found a seed in a Kishu. On the other hand, I often find like one seed in a Satsuma fruit. I can't say I see one in this one, but oftentimes there will be one seed in a Satsuma. Still considered seedless, but not truly seedless. Now, how about flavor? These guys, these little Kishus are I'll call them mild and sweet. There's really no tang. There's no tangerine tang to them. They're very good. These Satsumas have more of a flavor of the like canned Satsuma, sorry, canned mandarins that you've probably tasted. Uh, Also a really good flavor. Just a little different, and I'm sorry, but I have no idea how to describe it. But it's a little bit different. Now, in terms of the texture, there's also a like a thicker skin on these Satsuma segments, whereas the Kishu segments, it's almost surprising that the juice from inside isn't just falling out because the skin is so thin. I mean, you can just break them open so easily, and they're plenty juicy. On the other hand, I don't know. Yeah, you can see it very well. The juice vesicles of the Satsuma are a lot bigger, and the membranes are kind of thicker, and so it's just a kind of a different eating experience. You can sort of taste the the skin and the membrane on the segments and on the juice vesicles, and it's just different. Still, still really good, but different. So I called both of them early mandarins, and they are. You can probably. I'm in San Diego County, and you can probably eat either one of these starting maybe in November, more reliably in December. But Kishus taste a little better, a little earlier than Satsumas. So I'd say Kishu is the earlier among these two. And it's the earliest among all the different mandarins that I grow. Um, and the productivity of the Kishu is a little bit higher than the Satsuma tree. My trees are only like 6 years old, but the Kishus have been slightly more productive than the Satsumas, although the Satsumas are very productive also. The tree size of the Kishu is smaller, just like the fruit. The tree size of the Satsuma, I'd call it more of like a medium-sized tree, um, whereas the Kishu, you can consider the tree even kind of a dwarfish tree. Not that it's going to stay that way after 20 years, but it's mine's like, I don't know, whatever, 6 years old or something, and it's still really a bush. It's not even as tall as me. So yeah, there's your comparison: Kishu versus Satsuma mandarins.